Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, and let's figure out what is happening to Tesla today on a pretty decent day for Tesla. Nothing we can, I'm sure, complain about unless you're a bear. And let's just talk about it. Let's just figure out what the hell's happening and what we can expect for the rest of the week, next week, the final week of June, of course. And yeah. So all that being said and done, if you enjoy, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. That link is, of course, down below in the description of the video. You get access to it for my intraday thoughts, posts, updates, constant, technical analysis, options flow, etc. Every single day the market is open, constantly updating, whenever there's obviously something to update. Again, just $3 a month, you get access to all of this every single day. If you're interested, that link is below. But jumping into a Tesla closing the day with a beautiful 2.66%, putting us at $187.43. And this is a pretty important level for two reasons, two major reasons. The first reason, let's talk about on the daily, well, actually three reasons on the daily chart overall. So two of them come from the daily chart. So first, I want to just talk about the very simple one, this green trend line, right? The green trend line, obviously, if you start from all the way up here as usual, and you draw it down, as we've been pretty much getting rejected by all these points right here. You can even argue the fact that it was maybe more steep like this, arguably, right? But regardless, if you can do like this, whatever. The point is, regardless of which way you draw it here, so far, at least, as of right now, it seems like we officially have a breakout. This is a good sign. This is exactly what the bulls want to see, because what does this signal? This signals that we are no longer trending downwards. We're no longer trending downwards. I mean, we technically already did that back here, but this is like a mini trend line, right? This little situation that we found ourselves in after the initial breakout. And we kind of found ourselves in another little situation that we're kind of trending downwards in, but we have officially broken up above that as well. Now, I'm not going to lie, it's not the most convincing breakout. It's, it's very close, unless you draw like this, then, maybe it's a bit more convincing, but I like to do it like this. It's a little bit more, it's less lenience, right? It's more confirmation for me to, if it can break out from this version of the trend line, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, it is breaking out. It's just not ridiculously convincing. However, what is pretty decent is the fact that if you go over to the 1 hour chart, this is pretty nice. So we've had a lot of issues with this line right here. This line right here pretty much sitting at pretty much 187 really. Right, we came up to it all the way over here, got smacked down pretty aggressively, came up all the way past it, couldn't even close the first hour, got smacked back down pretty tremendously, and we continued down even lower, right? We went all the way down from like 191 all the way down to 177 pretty much, right? Pretty massive rejection. And then not too long after this situation here, we went up again. We pretty much, crossed above 187. We actually did close this 1 hour candle, this white one right here, above 187. Pretty damn good. And then we came back down and, seemingly turned it into a support. Great. The issue was the fact that the next day we ended up gapping down below it. And well, now officially we turned it back into resistance. So that's what you don't want to see as a bull. Today, we're pretty much doing it once again. We're trying again. You can see constant rejection with all these lines over here, right? All these wicks at this 187 resistance level. We came up above it. We closed this 1 hour candle right here above it, which is good, right? Similar to what we did over here, which is why there's still a bit of caution warranted naturally. But what we did right after that for the last half hour of the trading session is we took this level, that 187 that was obviously acting as a support here with all these wicks you can see, and we turned it into was acting as a resistance, and we turned it into a support, right? We actually went below it ever so slightly, and then we went up pretty aggressively actually on some decent volume over here towards the end of the day. You can see right here, right? We went below it, and then we smashed right through back again, went above it, closed above it, and that's a good sign. Now, what do I want to see moving forward? Well, it's pretty darn simple. The things I personally want to see moving forward is I want to see it not only continue being a support, 187, but I don't want to see a gap down. If we see a gap down tomorrow morning, right, similar to the situation we found ourselves back here on the Monday into the Tuesday, that was back on June 17th towards 18th, right? So we closed on June 17th. 18th was the gap down. I don't want to see something like this replay. I want to see at the very least, if it's a gap down, super small, like ridiculously small, like very, very, very tiny gap down, like literally like less than 0.2%, if even that, right? But at the very least, flat, if not a gap up. And that can kind of give that strength and not really give away this momentum back to the bears, or at least back to a neutral state where, we're still fighting over things, right? So this is pretty important in my opinion. So we want to make sure we're seeing something like that happen tomorrow. That's what I want to see. And that's the main thing I'll be focused on. So that's really, really important. Now, back to the daily chart really quickly. Even with that being said, we're still not out of the woodworks yet. Like I said, for a real breakout and a real run up to about $200 per share, I want to see this level right here break. I want to see this 191 level break. This is the level that's very, very important, because we've come up to this general area several times, right? this general area right here. We come up several times, right? And we keep getting rejected every single time we come up anywhere close to 190. It's a massive area of, well, liquidity, right? There's a lot of selling pressure right there. It's a massive area of resistance. We want to break above that. We want to close above 191, break above this level, which I think we will. I personally think we will. The fact that we broke above this green trend line is just a signal. The fact that, you know what, the sellers aren't stepping in as aggressively anymore, and or the buyers are becoming more aggressive, one or both, right? So that's a good sign. The fact that we're not continuing to trend down on this slope of this green trend line, that's a good sign. Closing above 187 is a good sign. It's like we're lighting the match to start the flame, but you know, we're just getting the first few sparks in. We need a little bit more into that. You know what I mean? We need a little bit more of a push, a little bit more of a spark to really ignite this and really start that push, if that makes sense. And this is a start, but we need a little bit more. But again, it's a good start. So ultimately, other than that though, oops, I'm like drawing all over my MACD over here. Other than that though, right, that's kind of the general like perspective that I have for Tesla, the things that I want to see happen even as early as tomorrow, really, right? To move even higher, at the very least to 191, if not, again, breaking above that to $200 per share. Could be this week, could be next week. Who knows? Next week we have delivery numbers, of course. That could be the catalyst, but we'll see. Nonetheless, MACD still looks great. RSI looks pretty good to me. No complaints there, right? MACD is obviously flip bullish. RSI, stochastic still flip bullish, right? Still has a bit more room to run, which is good, which can give us that final little push to 191, potentially even $200 per share. I do expect a rejection if let's just say in theory tomorrow or sometime this week, we do run up to $200 per share. I expect a pretty significant rejection from there. I expect us to reject and most likely at the very, very least, come back down to the very least back to 191, if not all the way back down to about this mid 180s range. Let's just say that, right? I do expect something like that to actually happen, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it, I guess, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the overall premise, right? Again, looking at the weekly chart, like I said yesterday, and I'll say it again today, the weekly chart looks pretty decent, right? Honestly, it does, because MACD still feel bullish, RSI still looking pretty solid, stochastic starting to get oversold territory, overbought territories, but it still has room to run, which is good, and it's still bullish, which is good, right? We can, this can stay overbought for a while, right? Until we start getting some serious divergences, maybe, or something like that. But the thing about the weekly chart, when it comes to horizontal level, supply and demand, etc., resistance support, you can see, right, all these wicks back here for several weeks in a row. Every time we came up anywhere around this region that we're currently trading in, we ultimately either closed the week well below that, leaving a massive wick above us, or these weeks back here, you can see the week of pretty much end of May and the first week of June, we couldn't even get there to begin with. Right? And now we're not only there, but we're so far holding. Now, obviously, there's still 3 more days left in the week. We'll see how the week actually closes. Hopefully, we don't leave another massive wick like these 3 weeks back here did. But it's a good sign, and it is showing some form of strength, which is always a plus to see. I do want to see what's happening in the aftermarket. It's been moving a little bit more aggressively than I usually. It's been kind of going up and down in this aftermarket over here on the after hours trading. But again, idea is I want to see 187 hold. So we'll see if that actually ends up being the case tomorrow. But ultimately, for options flow, right? We had some decent ones come in today, right? We had, let me go ahead and see if I can find them. I'm looking for, here we go. We had almost 1 million premium come in over here. Came in at 2:30 p.m. when Tesla was trading at 186.74, 190 strike above the ask, which is pretty nice, right? It's about a month out, of course, but nonetheless, pretty aggressive. Technically, not technically, literally out of the money. Pretty damn good premium, pretty much $1 million, and it's only a month out. Not bad. Like, these are the kind of things I actually do like to see. And there was another one that came in over here, $800,000, right? Came in for, well, this Friday, actually, when Tesla was at 185.28. So there's a good chance that they could have taken profit on it. It's up $2. So they're already probably up at, respectable amount even on that alone. And a 1.85 million put came in, but it was also for this Friday. And it did come in when Tesla was 186.36. And Tesla did drop below that after they bought this. So they could have also exited that position. That's why I'm not really bringing up those too much, especially my members, because very short term, very, very quick trades, it seems like. But the one I really like is, of course, that almost $1 million play for pretty much a month out. That I like to see. Options sold, however, this actually just came in. I didn't even see this before I started recording. 1.2 million options sell, 200 strike for 2026 December. That's pretty bearish, but don't forget they have a lot of premium associated with this, $64 in premium. So essentially, Tesla can go up substantially higher than $200 per share. And because of all this premium that they're soaking in, they're probably still up, and they don't have to even hold this for that long. They just probably think maybe Tesla won't do too much crazy things for a while. But yeah, don't forget, if you had the premium to the strike, etc., you have a whole lot of room to play with there when something is like this. So, even if Tesla goes way above $200 per share, even if it goes to $220 per share, as long as it doesn't go substantially higher than that, they're probably still going to win ultimately in the longer run. But I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I'll be completely honest. But nonetheless, I did see a lot of cash grippers, covered calls being sold for this Friday for about like 180. Sorry, not 180, 190, 192 strikes, sometimes some even 185 strikes. So some people clearly think that Tesla won't go too much higher than this. So we'll see if that actually ends up being the case. We are down a little bit post-market, so I definitely want to see that recapture, but it's of course on very low volume. But nonetheless, I'm kind of rambling now. I think you get the idea as to what I'm looking for. So as usual, if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching. My mind is a little bit clustered right now. I've been playing Elden Ring literally nonstop on top of trading. I always have my stuff over here, for my trading stuff here, my member stuff here, and my game here. And I'm playing, observing, and updating my members all at the same time. So it's pretty intense, but yeah, I'm pretty addicted to the game right now. That's all I want to say. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace.